Well, earlier this afternoon, we spoke with CBN News senior international correspondent George Thomas, who is on the ground in Ukraine. George, what's it look like right now on the ground in Ukraine?
Yeah, but 15 hours into this invasion, look, the Ukrainians are pretty much pinned on all sides. I mean, it started in the east, it moved to the south, and then to the north. The troops, Russian troops, rolling their tanks across the Crimean Bridge, did not face any resistance. The same to some extent in the north as they rolled down into Belarus. My understanding is that as of this hour, we were not getting any reports, concrete reports, that the Russians have passed the so-called line of contact in the east. It apparently seems like the Ukrainians are holding that position. But seriously, they are sort of surrounded on all three sides.
George, let me ask you this right now. Do the Ukrainians feel as if they're standing alone?
The Ukrainians absolutely feel like they're standing alone. Absolutely. One source said to me moments after the first bomb started dropping, he said, George, we don't need more sanctions. We don't need a show of unity amongst the EU or NATO members. What we need is hundreds of U.S. fighter jets and NATO jets flying over Ukrainian airspace. That is what's going to send a very powerful message to the Kremlin. You've got to use force to deal with a person like Vladimir Putin.
What's next? How far do the Ukrainians think the Russians will go?
I mean, I think it's tonight we're going to see. They've got all kinds of capabilities from equipment that they can deploy during this time. I think the morning was just the opening salvo. I mean, I think we're going to see in the next days what it's going to turn out like. I fear that we could see guerrilla warfare, street to street action. I pray that doesn't come to it, but I think that's where we're headed.
George Thomas, final question for you. How can Christians here in the United States be praying for their brothers and sisters there in Ukraine?
Yeah, folks might not know this, but today Ukraine is the largest missionary sending country in Eastern Europe and Central Asia. In fact, I was on the phone earlier today with a Ukrainian missionary who was in Ethiopia and had just preached to about 50,000 Ethiopians. Ukrainian believers are spread to the four corners of the globe, and the church here back in Ukraine is ready. They are ready in the West. In the southeast, they're ready to minister to those who are fleeing the situation. And we see that today there are about 6,000 shelters that have opened up here in Lviv, and the church, the evangelical church, the Orthodox church, the Jewish community, they're all involved. They're holding hands together to help those who are perhaps caught in the midst of the violence.
George Thomas, thank you so much for joining us. We pray for the people of Ukraine, and we pray for you and your safety as well.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Tony.